one person.
Oh, go on.
And I call him Sean. That's Jay-Z. We call each other Sean.
Okay.
Yeah. Nobody else could call me Sean.
He's the only person who's Sean approved.
There's not a single person that
outside of family.
That should be outside of my mother.
Okay, just
that should be calling me.
After Diddy's arrest, the internet immediately began pulling on every loose thread connected to his inner circle. And naturally, that spotlight drifted straight toward Jay-Z and Beyonce. The reasoning wasn't random. Diddy and Jay-Z have been publicly close for decades, and Diddy himself has said on record that only 2 people are allowed to call him by his real first name: Sean, his mother, and Jay-Z. That detail alone has always stuck with people, because it suggests a level of intimacy and trust that goes far beyond industry friendship. When someone that close gets taken down, people start asking uncomfortable questions about who knew what, who was around what, and who might be trying very hard to stay quiet while the dust settles. Jay-Z's silence after Diddy's arrest only fueled those questions.
Beyonce and Jay-Z will do anything to destroy anyone who speaks out against them.
He didn't issue a statement. He didn't distance himself publicly. He didn't condemn anything. For some, that silence looked like strategy. For others, it looked like fear. And for conspiracy-minded observers, it looked like someone protecting a bigger picture. None of that is proven. But in the court of public opinion, absence speaks just as loudly as words. And when you combine that silence with the sudden resurfacing of old stories.
Go to Uncle Ron's TikTok page. All of his videos are going to say the creator limited comments. This creator is stating that the reason why the comments are turned off is because people were in the comments asking what happened to Uncle Ron, how did he pass away, and the family wanted to avoid the question because they wanted to stay safe.
Unexplained deaths and buried industry rumors. The narrative starts to feel darker than just coincidence. One of the names that resurfaced almost immediately was Jay-Z's former bodyguard, known online as Uncle Ron. Uncle Ron passed away on September 12th of this year, and the cause of death has not been publicly disclosed. What caught people's attention wasn't just his death, but what happened afterward. His TikTok account, where he had previously posted content hinting at insider knowledge and industry secrets, suddenly had comments restricted.
I really like him though, and I don't care who he's dating. I always had a crush on him.
He was more quiet about it. If we be real with ourselves, it was kind of abnormal when he got with, there's rumors that he was messing with Foxy Brown when she was pretty young. Some of these rumors been around about people for a long time.
According to statements attributed to people close to the family, comments were limited because users were asking too many questions about how he died, and the family wanted to avoid speculation for safety reasons. That explanation only deepened suspicion for some, especially in an environment where whistleblowers and insiders are often believed to pay a price for talking too much. From there, the conversation expanded beyond Diddy and into the long, complicated personal histories tied to Jay-Z and Beyonce themselves. Critics and theorists alike began revisiting old relationships, career collapses, and industry fallouts, looking for patterns rather than isolated incidents. One of the earliest stories people return to is Beyoncé's teenage relationship with her first boyfriend, Lyndall Locke.
You know, we were friends first for a year and a half before we went on any date on the phone for a year and a half.
They began dating when she was just 12 years old, long before global fame, before Destiny's Child dominated the charts. Locke has said that as Beyoncé's success grew, her personality changed, becoming more distant and short-tempered, and that their relationship ultimately deteriorated under the weight of fame, pressure, and strict religious expectations. He has also hinted that during this period, Jay-Z was already orbiting her life, positioning himself as someone who could elevate her career to the next level. On the other side of that timeline sits Blue Cantrell, a singer Jay-Z was romantically linked to in the early 2000s. Her career trajectory is one of the most cited examples when people talk about alleged industry retaliation. After Blue publicly expressed her feelings for Jay-Z during a now infamous Wendy Williams interview, including comments that suggested she didn't care whether he had a girlfriend, her momentum mysteriously stalled. Her album stopped coming.
How long have you known her? Wow, a long time.
How long? 10 years?
However long she's been recording. That's when I met her.
Well, don't you remember how long it was?
Yeah, when I met her. I mean,
was it 5 years ago? Was it?
I met her 10 years ago.
Opportunities dried up, and by 2004, she had effectively vanished from the mainstream music industry. While no direct evidence links Jay-Z or Beyoncé to her career decline, the timing has always raised eyebrows, especially among fans who believe power couples quietly control access behind the scenes. Then there's Aaliyah. Jay-Z has never spoken openly about his rumored connection to her, despite persistent speculation fueled by photos, proximity, and timing. Aaliyah eventually dated Damon Dash, who was Jay-Z's close friend and business partner at the time, further complicating the narrative. Her tragic death in a plane crash froze those questions permanently, leaving room for theories, but no definitive answers. Over time, some conspiracy circles even dragged Beyoncé into those theories.
Got set up with a that was a pedophile who gave her herpes.
Despite no evidence, simply because of how her rise aligned with Aaliyah's absence. Again, none of this is proven, but once rumors take root in hip-hop history, they rarely die. Another story that resurfaces often involves Nas's ex-girlfriend Carmen Bryant, who admitted years later that she cheated on Nas with Jay-Z and became pregnant by him before suffering a miscarriage. That revelation added gasoline to one of the biggest rivalries in rap history and reinforced the perception that Jay-Z's personal relationships often overlapped with his professional wars. When layered together, these stories paint a picture of a man whose romantic entanglements frequently intersected with power struggles, betrayals, and long-lasting fallout. More controversial allegations center on Jay-Z's associations with younger female artists during the late 1990s. Rumors involving Foxy Brown, who was only 15 at the time, have circulated for years. Foxy herself has firmly denied any inappropriate relationship, calling those rumors disgusting and disrespectful. Still, critics argue that the environment itself was questionable, especially given Jay-Z's close friendships with figures like R. Kelly and Diddy, both of whom were later accused or convicted of crimes involving minors. Guilt by association isn't proof, but it has undeniably shaped public perception in the post-Diddy era. All of this context brings people back to Jay-Z and Beyoncé's own origin story, which has never been clearly defined. The couple has given multiple versions of when they met and when their relationship began. Beyoncé has said they met when she was 18 and remained friends for over a year before dating. Jay-Z has stated they met in 2000 during travel for an MTV event. But in a 2007 interview with Charlie Rose, Jay-Z claimed he had known Beyoncé for 10 years, placing their first meeting around 1997 when she was 16 and he was 28. That discrepancy has never been fully explained, and it's one of the main reasons skeptics believe the couple deliberately simplified their timeline to avoid scrutiny. When you combine all of this, the silence after Diddy's arrest, the unexplained death of a former bodyguard, the resurfacing of career derailments, contradictory timelines, and decades of whispered allegations, it's easy to see why people believe there's more beneath the surface than the polished public image suggests. None of these pieces alone prove wrongdoing, but together, they form a mosaic that makes some observers deeply uncomfortable. Whether this is the result of coincidence, industry politics, or something more deliberate remains unknown. What's clear is that in the aftermath of Diddy's downfall, no one connected to that era of power is escaping renewed scrutiny, especially those who have spent years carefully controlling the narrative. By the mid-2000s, the rumors around Jay-Z and Beyoncé weren't just background noise anymore. They were getting louder, more specific, and harder to ignore. In 2005, whispers began circulating that the couple had briefly split, and according to long-standing industry gossip, the alleged reason wasn't business pressure or creative differences, but infidelity. The name that kept surfacing in those conversations was Rihanna.
He said something about a window and a door. Oh, then you said... He said it homework. I did a lot of homework on you, Miss Lady. He said, there are two ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal sign or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor. So you was like, where's the pen? Where's the paper?
At the time, Rihanna was young, newly introduced to the industry, and already under Jay-Z's professional umbrella. Nothing was ever proven, no public confirmation was given, and all parties involved denied wrongdoing, but the rumor itself refused to die, especially because of how events unfolded in the years that followed. Those whispers gained new life after the 2009 Chris Brown and Rihanna incident. Chris Brown publicly expressed frustration that he was condemned and effectively exiled from the industry for his actions, while, in his words, other powerful celebrities allegedly escaped consequences for far worse behavior. Around that same time, an old rumor resurfaced, claiming that Chris Brown had told police he acted out after learning he had contracted herpes, which some conspiracy circles allege Rihanna had gotten from Jay-Z. This claim has never been substantiated, has never been supported by police records, and remains entirely unproven. Still, figures like Jaguar Wright have repeated versions of this story, asserting that Rihanna was extremely young when she entered the industry and was allegedly exploited by older men in power. Again, these are allegations, not facts, but the repetition has kept them alive in online spaces. Fuel was added to the fire when an old interview with Rihanna resurfaced, in which she described her first meeting with Jay-Z at Def Jam. She recalled being kept in his office until the early morning hours and being told there were only two ways to leave: through the door with a record deal or through a window. Rihanna later clarified the comment as metaphorical pressure, not a literal threat, but critics argue that even metaphorically, the power imbalance was disturbing. She was 16 at the time. In hindsight, many people now view that story differently, especially in the context of other industry scandals involving coercion and control. From there, the conversation drifted into darker territory, including one of the most controversial and widely disputed theories tied to Jay-Z, the death of Pimp C. Pimp C was found dead in a Los Angeles hotel room in December 2007 on Jay-Z's birthday, a coincidence that conspiracy theorists never let go of. Before his death, Pimp C allegedly told people close to him that he possessed a home video involving a very famous R&B singer who did not know she was being recorded.
His mom thinks he was poisoned, and there was someone with him when he passed who was a very shady, strange character. So there is actually a person of interest.
And that if it ever surfaced, it would break the internet. Shortly afterward, he was gone. Officially, his death was ruled a result of complications from heavy lean use combined with sleep apnea. However, Pimp C's mother has publicly stated that she believes her son was poisoned and that someone else was present when he died, someone she considered suspicious. One of Pimp C's associates later claimed the woman in the alleged video was 10 times more famous than Kim Kardashian. No evidence of the tape has ever surfaced, and there is no proof connecting Jay-Z or anyone else to Pimp C's death. But the timing and the unanswered questions continue to haunt fans. Another theory, which some find more plausible than the Pimp C speculation, centers around the mysterious death of a woman named Kathy White, alleged to have been Jay-Z's former lover. According to journalist Liz Crokin, who claims she was investigating online reports for Star magazine in 2011, Kathy initially denied knowing Jay-Z when contacted. However, Crokin later uncovered photos of Kathy with Jay-Z and Diddy at a Las Vegas nightclub. When confronted with the images, Kathy allegedly changed her tone and suggested she might go public with her story. Days later, she was reportedly found dead. The official cause of death was ruled natural, but Crokin has publicly stated that she believes it was staged to look that way, citing alleged corruption and cover-ups within certain circles. There is also an unproven rumor that Kathy may have been pregnant. None of this has been confirmed, and no evidence has tied Jay-Z to her death, but the suddenness of it has kept the story alive. As these rumors circulated, more allegations began stacking up. Multiple women over the years have claimed Jay-Z had affairs during his marriage to Beyoncé, including models and adult film actresses. One woman even claimed she gave birth to his son in the early 1990s.
The video that Pimp C had?
Yes.
Man, yeah, this woman here is 10 times more famous than Kim. It'd be a lot of simping going on because a lot of niggas who think they all clever be really hurt.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, they'd be really hurt about to know what they call a wife ain't nothing but a thought.
And that Jay-Z refused to take a paternity test. Photos of the alleged son have circulated online for years, fueling speculation, but never producing legal confirmation. Despite all of this, Jay-Z and Beyoncé's public image remained largely intact, protected by success, branding, and silence. That illusion cracked in 2014 when surveillance footage from a Met Gala elevator leaked, showing Beyoncé's sister Solange physically attacking Jay-Z while Beyoncé stood by. The clip went viral instantly. No one involved explained what happened, but journalists and insiders quickly suggested the altercation was related to infidelity. Music journalist Randy Taraborelli later claimed Solange confronted Jay-Z over cheating allegations, allegedly involving another woman he wanted to bring to an after-party. Whether true or not, the elevator footage marked the first time the public saw visible chaos inside the Carter family. Taken individually, each of these stories could be dismissed as gossip, coincidence, or exaggeration. But when layered together over decades, unexplained deaths, career collapses, contradictory timelines, power imbalances, silence during scandals, and repeated allegations from insiders, they form a narrative that many find unsettling. None of this proves criminal behavior. None of it confirms conspiracy. But it does explain why, in the aftermath of Diddy's arrest, people are re-examining every shadow connected to that era of unchecked industry power. Because history has shown that the truth in music doesn't always surface when it happens. Sometimes it waits until the silence becomes impossible to maintain. Not long after the infamous elevator incident, the public noticed something else that added fuel to the speculation. Beyoncé was seen partying with Rihanna barely a month later, a moment that many fans interpreted as deliberate, symbolic, or at the very least, awkward. Around that same period, Beyoncé began performing her song Resentment in a way that raised eyebrows. During live performances, when she reached the bridge that originally referenced a mistress, she noticeably altered the lyrics, replacing the word entirely. While Beyoncé never explained the change, fans read into it heavily, especially given the timing. To many, it felt less like artistic improvisation and more like a public acknowledgement of betrayal, masked behind music. That interpretation only grew stronger years later with the release of Lemonade in 2016. The album was deeply personal, emotionally raw, and filled with themes of jealousy, infidelity, resentment, forgiveness, and power dynamics inside a marriage. Lyrics referencing warnings, loss, and consequences were widely viewed as autobiographical, even though Beyoncé herself never explicitly confirmed which songs were literal. The project painted a picture of a woman confronting betrayal, reclaiming agency, and deciding whether love was worth saving. A year later, Jay-Z added to that narrative when he released 444, where he openly admitted to cheating, expressed remorse, and publicly apologized to Beyoncé. For the first time, speculation turned into confirmation, at least on the issue of infidelity. But where things start to veer into darker territory is with the voices claiming the betrayal was only one layer of a much deeper problem. Earlier in the video, Uncle Ron, Jay-Z's former security guard, was mentioned, and his statements have continued to circulate heavily online. According to him, the relationship between Jay-Z and Beyoncé is not built on love at all, but control. He alleged that Jay-Z dominates every aspect of Beyoncé's life, even claiming she has been kept medicated for years. These claims have never been proven, no evidence has surfaced, and they remain allegations, but they are still repeated because of the source's proximity to the couple during their rise. Uncle Ron also accused the Carters of systematically destroying the careers of anyone who publicly challenged them. The name most often tied to this claim is Carrie Hilson. Her fallout with Beyoncé allegedly began in 2009 after lyrics from a remix were interpreted as a subtle diss. While Hilson denied malicious intent, fans believed the damage was already done. Things escalated in 2011 during a Soul Train Awards red carpet moment when Hilson awkwardly hesitated while holding a magazine featuring Beyoncé and Jay-Z on the cover. Shortly after that, her mainstream presence faded dramatically. No official blacklist was ever confirmed, but the pattern has fueled speculation that crossing the Carters comes with consequences. The accusations don't stop there. Uncle Ron also claimed that Jay-Z distanced himself from key figures in his early career, Biggie Smalls, Freeway, and others, the moment he no longer needed them. He described a pattern where Jay-Z cuts ties as soon as alliances become liabilities. Supporters point to Jay-Z's abrupt separation from R. Kelly once legal troubles became unavoidable as another example. The same pattern is now being observed with Diddy, as Jay-Z has remained silent since Diddy's arrest despite their decades-long friendship. Then there are the more controversial associations. Jay-Z's friendship with performance artist Marina Abramović has long sparked conspiracy theories. Abramović has been accused online of practicing occult rituals, claims she has denied repeatedly. Still, Beyoncé's former drummer once alleged that the couple engaged in ritualistic behavior, reigniting speculation about symbolism, secrecy, and power. More recently, rapper DaBaby described attending a private Diddy party where most guests were asked to leave, while only a select few, including Jay-Z and Beyoncé, were allowed to stay. He described the moment as uncomfortable, ceremonial, and strangely intense. While this could easily be exaggerated storytelling, some online commentators pointed out symbolic interpretations tied to exclusivity and initiation. Kanye West added gasoline to the fire when he publicly claimed that Jay-Z and Beyoncé are controlled by powerful forces, while insisting he himself cannot be controlled because he hasn't committed crimes that could be used against him. In another moment, Kanye went even further, stating outright that Jay-Z has killers, a claim that has never been supported by evidence and has been widely criticized as reckless. Still, Kanye's words continue to circulate because of his past proximity to the Carters and his tendency to speak without restraint. To be clear, everything you've just heard beyond confirmed infidelity exists in the realm of rumor, speculation, and conspiracy. There are no convictions, no verified documents, and no legal findings that confirm criminal involvement by Jay-Z or Beyoncé in any of these stories. But the reason these theories persist is not because of proof, it's because of patterns, silence, power, and timing. In an industry where truth is often buried under branding, image control, and money, people naturally start asking uncomfortable questions. So now the real question is this: how much of what we see is coincidence, and how much is carefully managed perception? Are these stories just exaggerated internet myths? Or is there a darker side of the industry that only comes into focus once the walls start cracking? Let us know what you think in the comments, and if you want to keep digging into the hidden power structures of the music world, check out the next video on the channel.